It really makes it make sense. It really does. We'll be right back with Marilynn Hughes. Stay with us.
I'm inside my mind, but my body moves around. You're stuck in time. That guides my life, but in the end it's only secondhand. It's like I'm weightless. You've got me feeling so high. One night in Vegas, we could.
This is No Way Jose, a Northern California Piscean stuck in the Arizona desert. I'm a void walker, and I got the shoes to prove it. So what do I do when my soul yearns to delve deep into the realm of the unknown? I aim my satellite straight into the night sky and catch a smooth ride on the KTLK-DB radio waves. I tune into Lighting the Void with Joe Rupe on the Fringe FM.
Joe, Lighting the Void is the best show on the planet. This is Barney, your friend from Facebook. Thank you and all the crew for all you do. Namaste, my friend.
This is Macon from the foothills of North Carolina, and I am a void walker.
G'day, void walkers. This is Lily from down under Australia. The world may be small, the enigma is greater. So let your curiosity take you for a journey with Joe Root.
Hey, this is V, coming in from Central Maryland, and I am a void walker.
This is Kevin Doherty, a beginner void walker. I'm from Vancouver, BC. I know a little about a lot, and as Leonard Skinner said, I'll guess the rest. I learned a lot from Mr. Rupe in the show, and heard it from the beginning. I knew right then he was going to be a new art gal. Thanks for all your shows, and keep it up.
Hey, this is Derek from Mass, a.k.a. the Night Stalker, and I'm a void walker.
This is Mark from Chicago, and I walk the void to ascertain what is consciousness.
My name is Jared Johnson, and I'm from Humboldt County, California. I do not know all the answers to the questions about reality. I do not claim to know the ultimate truth about life. I seek that which has been made hidden as a part of a family of explorers of consciousness. I'm a void walker. Thanks, Joe Root.
Abnormal News, I'm Brad Bernards. The International Space Station just dodged a fast-moving hunk of orbiting junk, according to Space.com. Controllers maneuvered the station away from a potential collision with a piece of debris Tuesday afternoon, September 22nd. They did so by firing the thrusters on a Russian-progress cargo spacecraft that's docked to the orbiting lab's service module, NASA officials said in an update. The 3 astronauts currently living aboard the station, NASA's Chris Cassidy, and 2 Russian cosmonauts sheltered in the station's Russian segment during the maneuver to be closer to their Soyuz spacecraft, the NASA update stated. This was done out of an abundance of caution, they said. At no time was the crew in any danger. Space junk is a growing problem in Earth orbit. Nearly 129 million pieces of debris are whizzing around our planet at the moment, according to estimates by the European Space Agency. Astronomers have painstakingly built models of the asteroid population, and these models predict that there will be 1-kilometer-sized asteroids that orbit closer to the Sun than Venus does. The problem is nobody's been able to find one until now. UniverseToday.com reports astronomers working with the Zwicky Transient Facility say they finally found one, but this one's bigger at about 2 kilometers. If its existence can be confirmed, then asteroid population models may have to be updated. A new paper presenting this result is up on archive.org. The newly discovered asteroid is named 2020 AV2. Its discovery is surprising since models predict no asteroids this large inside Venus's orbit. It could be evidence of a new population of asteroids, or it could be just the largest of its population. There's more news at parabnormalradio.com. I'm Brad Bernards, Parabnormal News.
Hey, Fringe listeners, this is Dave Cruz, host of Beyond the Strange Radio, asking you to join us live Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. Pacific Time, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Fringe FM. Visit BeyondTheStrange.com for links to chat, social media, and schedules of the show. And remember, always stay strange. Hasta.
Have you ever wanted to dream about being a character in your favorite video game or movie? Would you like to dream your fantasy with all 5 senses in detail and remember everything? It's time to bring the dreaming mind back online. Introducing Dreaming for Gamers from Ian Wilson.
Dreaming for Gamers will teach you how to program your dreams to dream what you want from any video game, movie, or source material that you choose. The courses help rehabilitate the dreaming mind out of atrophy so you can remember your dreams, taste, touch, smell, see, and hear, as well as be self-aware and take complete control over the dream state like Neo in The Matrix. You can't catch COVID in a dream, but you can wake up with a happy ending.
Type in thefringe.fm/dreamplay and sign up today to get dreaming now. That's thefringe.fm/dreamplay, or click the banner at thefringe.fm today and take the 7-day dream challenge for free while it lasts.
Hey, this is Amalia from Know the Self Mystery School. I know that you are in the midst of massive change. We all are. This is the great turning, the time that we all decided to be here on the planet. Do you know why you came here to be a part of this crazy time? If not, I invite you to join my mystery school. I have a 9-week course called Activate Your Mission. And in this course, you're going to learn how to erect crystal clear boundaries so that you can hear that inner still voice that's going to guide your every move. Even if you're dealing with feeling weighed down by obligation and being enslaved to the system, this course is going to give you the tools you need to illuminate your shadow and awaken to your soul's mission. The moment you sign up to the school, you are going to be greeted by not only a group of soulful spiritual warriors, but you're also going to get some massive karmic clearings, and you're going to feel the energy. It's palpable. I hope you'll join me in the school where together we're going to unlock your divine mission.
Activate your mission by going to thefringe.fm/soul mission and put in the code word FRINGE and receive $50 off today. Hey, Fringe FM listeners. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or no Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of the Fringe FM by calling 701-719-3971. No smartphone app or internet needed. Saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Call 701-719-3971. That's 701-719-3971. Listen to the Fringe FM on any phone, anytime, anywhere.
Answers to the questions about reality. I do not claim to know the ultimate truth about life. I seek that which has been made hidden as a part of a family of explorers of consciousness. I am a void walker. This is Macon, and you're listening to Lighting the Void with Joe Rupe.
Message is being broadcast by the Department of Defense of the Republic. At 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, multiple unidentified objects were confirmed to have entered Earth's atmosphere.
Discovery Houston, 20 seconds to LOS T-drift. Contact, I am due in orbit.
The first message that comes to you is you are a divine being. You matter. You count. You come from realms of unimaginable power and light, and you will return to those around you.
The vast stretches of the unknown and the unanswered and the unfinished still far outstrip our collective comprehension.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting from Forest Tower Studios, all the way from the Deep South. Now, here is your host, Joe Rupe.
All right, well, welcome back to the second hour of Lighting the Void here live on the Fringe FM. We're on into the 29th. It's 1 a.m. here on the East Coast in New York. And straight off the desk of the Night Stalker from Yahoo is they're already messing with our Yahoo, right? Sounds right. They're already messing with our dreams. New gadgets are letting scientists plant ideas in people's dreams as they sleep. Now, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but it does sound like something out of a comic book, just like I told you guys last Friday night. But they describe this technique as targeted dream incubation. And this is, they're saying these are caused by lockdown. I guess lockdown is the perfect time to do this experiment. That people are having bizarre dreams caused by lockdown. And this research depends on a sleep tracking device called Dormio. It's detecting an early sleep stage known as hypnagogia, which we've discussed here on the show quite a bit. And it's similar to what's known as the REM. I'm sure you guys are familiar with that. But people can still hear things during this stage of sleep. And basically what they're doing is they're giving suggestibility through this device. And I guess long story short here is they're saying that... think of a tree, like they'll say something like that. And now they're saying 67% of those people that had the suggestibility had dreams about trees. So they're doing experiments on our consciousness for sure, but we kind of knew that already. So just something to think about. And Night Stalker has that in our chat room at thefringe.fm/chat room over at our Discord server. Also, you can support the show by a one-time donation, please, or signing up to our Patreon. Tonight, our guest is Marilynn Hughes from outofbodytravel.org. Very interesting woman indeed, and has written 101 books on this and done all kinds of stuff about the out-of-body experience all the way since the 80s. And now that we've heard your the process of all this, I'd kind of like to know, Marilynn, again, thanks for coming on the show, by the way. It's good to have you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
But I'd kind of like to know, what was the first experience you had? A lot of people say it's childhood. For me, it was an adult. When did this start happening for you?
Well, I had the first very, very powerful experience when I was 9, and then I started having it again at the age of 22. So at the age of 9, I had a powerful wow experience, so it was one of those types of experiences where the clouds opened up, they were billowing all around me, the marble staircase, the angels were lined up on each side of that staircase, and up at the top was someone, 2 thrones, and an old man who I perceived to be God the Father, and next to him someone I perceived to be God the Son. And I was, instructed to ascend the staircase. And as I did, I was shown many things. One of the things I was shown was that there was going to be a great deal of persecution against the cross, and that I would stand tall for the cross. Another thing I was shown was that there was going to be a lot of difficulty in my path, that there was going to be a lot of things for me to overcome, which have proven to be true. But I was told that at a later date, and I was 9 at the time, this experience would return to me, and that there was something that I was intended to do with it, and that it was important that I do it. And it was really, it was something that really, really struck me in a way where, was kind of like my burning bush moment, I guess you would say. Moses and the burning bush. And then when I was 22, I had my first spontaneous out-of-body experience since that time. And this was more of the general type thing where went into all the usual stages, the vibrational state, experiencing, hearing the sounds, the voices of the astral plane, the vibrational sounds, which are, the higher vibration of the astral plane than the physical sphere. And then I tried to lift my arm, and my light arm came out, and I realized something was going on. And eventually I rolled out and floated up to the ceiling, noticed my body down below. I remember the first time being this would be the second time, but for the first time in my adult life, I was kind of scared. And it was a lot of fear because, first of all, just the fact that, you're leaving your body, you do have to wonder, oh, am I dying in my sleep? What's going on? You know what I mean? We all, some people don't think of that one, because when you have your first out-of-body experience, that's always a thought. And then the other is just the sheer power of it. The sounds, the jet engine sounds, it's very loud and very intense, and the vibrations are very strong. And this is a real earth-shattering thing. And so, then I came down more to the floor, realized I was having trouble like moving around and stuff like this. And, a lot of my experiences in the beginning were just you run the mill trying to figure out how to move through windows and doors and see and hear and all those basic things. But then, times changed and progressed, and I've progressed through a lot of different things. It's been, like 3 decades since that time. And so since that time, I've had really beautiful experiences. You progress from the astral plane into other mystical dimensions. And, so I've had experiences with my white-winged horse, whose name is Saint Harmony Crystal Fire. I've had many experiences with that white-winged horse. But flying with the Assisi Marauders, which are this group of creative spirits that were very pivotal for me in forming my ability to create. I'm sorry, did I? Okay. And so I felt, they had the Assisi Marauders come from this mountainous region somewhere off of Venus. There is a spiritual civilization in Venus that is not third or fourth dimensional. It's more fifth dimensional. And this is where they come from. And this is where I would get to go to ride the white-winged horses. And for a great period of time, I would have this beautiful experience of my white-winged horse waiting for me outside the window at night to take me to my next adventure, something along those lines.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of what happened to me, except I didn't go anywhere. I just couldn't leave my yard. That was
okay.
Yeah, that's pretty intense, though. So that started for you when you were 9. So I guess we could say that you were born for this, then, right?
Probably. It might have been. Yeah, it was obviously something that I was destined to do. And there were periods when I was taken to the Akashic records and shown things that I was supposed to do. And ironically, it was primarily when I was kind of not happy about something that I was supposed to do. So, there was a period of time where I was learning how to help lost souls and wandering spirits and ghosts and deal with hauntings. And I didn't like it because it was kind of creepy job. And it was just at the beginning. I don't see it that way anymore, because I've done it for so long. I see it completely differently. But one night I remember just saying, I don't want to do this. I'm just not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of my spiritual teachers, his name was Emmanuel, took me to the Akashic records and showed me where I had signed up to do that in this lifetime. And so I realized, okay, I guess I have to do that.
Gotcha.
And so again, this is part of the very beginning stages. And then you go into the phases, where you are, you meet with the prophets, you meet with Jesus, you meet with Mary. I remember having
Well, but let's do this. Let's take this caller before we go down this road, because this, I'm sure, is going to be pretty interesting. Here we have a 586 area code. You're on the air with Marilynn Hughes. Who are you speaking with?
This is James Salcedo.
Hey, James. What's up, man? You got a question for Marilynn?
Hi.
Hi, James.
Yeah, well, hello. I just had I guess what I want to do real quick is explain my first, experience, basically just a real quick version of it, and see what you think, because I never heard of anything like it anywhere else, and I was just curious. What happens to me, and has happened to me before, is I will find myself in places I don't recognize.
Okay.
And I'm always alone, and I'm not afraid, and they're not bad. It's nothing, negative. But then I will end up, after the experience, I will end up going there in person months or even years later.
Okay.
And it's the same place, but it's different circumstances, and there are people around. I was just wondering if you've ever heard of anything like that. It's not exactly like a direct premonition, because the situation isn't the same. I just was wondering what you thought about that.
Actually, yes, this is very common, and it's the reason why these things happen, besides the fact that you're having premonitions or a deja vu kind of thing, is because of something I call the management realm. There is a realm in the mystical spheres which contains all the byproducts of our thoughts, words, deeds, actions, and stuff. And it is formulating what is going to eventually happen on the ground. But these things are happening in energy before they hit the ground. Oftentimes, this is what psychics will tune into when they are reading somebody. And that's why sometimes things will change a little bit, because what happens is when people change their thoughts, or they change their mind, or do something different, that can alter what then ends up hitting the ground. And you learn about this in the discrimination pathway, how this management realm is actually a place where a lot of activity goes on to alter reality before it hits the ground, to try to help keep people on track of their destiny and their fates. And so what probably happened is that you were touching into these things, that they were going to come to pass, and they came to pass a little bit differently, because over time there were different ideas, thoughts, and actions that altered it just a little bit, but it hit the ground similarly enough that you could recognize it. So that's very cool, I think.
Will that help you, James?
Well, that's very interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting. I'll hang up now, but thank you very much. That was really interesting.
Thank you, James. Thanks for calling. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah. And
I've had premonitions before, but it's not like, that's years later. Yeah, that's pretty intense, though. Right.
Yeah, and that does happen. Some people will have the premonitions where it's, the airplane accident, and it happens the night before it happens, or a lot of things like this, and they're very quick. But there are things that people will envision, and it's not uncommon. Several years or months, weeks, before something is going to happen. And actually, you'll see this too, where people will have they'll touch into things that are going to happen decades later. Sometimes the way that spirit will work with us is to give us a little bit of a peep into a future part of our life where we're going to connect with destiny somehow. And so somehow connecting with this energy at this point in our life and connecting that point with the current point helps us to energize it from the place that we're at currently, so that we are much more likely to actually achieve it and reach that destiny. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's a very, very common thing that is done. Ironically, it's called it's called the sacred hoop in Native American religion.
Hoop. Okay. I'll have to check that out too. I think we got another call here too from 807 in Canada, Ontario area. Who are you speaking with?
Oh, hi, Joe and Marilynn. My name is Elmar.
Hi.
Hey, Elmar. How are you doing?
Hi, Elmar.
Hi, Hi, you know who I am.
I sure do. Elmar, it's great to talk to you.
Yeah, it's great to finally. I've been bugging Joe, and I've been suggesting to you to get on Joe's show. In my opinion,
wasn't I just telling you someone was talking about you? I told her that too. I said, someone has been bugging me to death to get you on the show, and I'm trying to figure out who it is.
Yeah, it's me. Joe, about a year ago, you read my about my theophany and a little bit of my life on air. And I don't know if you remember that. Anyway, yeah, it was about, it was Halloween last year. And it was about my experience meeting God on the beach.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
That.
Yeah.
The theophany. So I wrote, I joined Marilynn's Facebook page, and I wrote a larger letter about that experience and a little bit more about my life. But I just wanted to, I've had one very disturbing out-of-body experience, and I'll just quickly tell you what happened here. I got into the vibrational state. I use the certain video. It's extremely powerful using, hypnosis, binaural beats. And anyway, it gets me into the trance state and went into this vibrational state. And most of them have been pretty pleasant, the out-of-body experiences I've met. Actually, I flew by Christ and 3 kids while out in outer space. It was a very, very profound experience. Yeah, it was. I had just learned how to fly. I was kind of standing in space. There was a planet over to my left. And anyway, and a voice said to me, "Put your arms out, eh?" And I started flying through space like I was on a roller coaster. Now, here's the crazy part. I went back into my body for a moment, and I could feel G-forces of the actual flying around astrally.
I've felt that before too, but only when I was a child. I did.
Yeah, it was wild. It was like I really was like I was on a roller coaster. Just imagine being on a roller coaster twisting around, except I'm flying in outer space. Maybe I'll just quickly, I know you're going to come up to a break soon. So anyway, I'm flying, and I can see what I thought was a star ahead.
Okay.
And as I was flying closer to the star, I could see a figure. Well, first I could see this white kind of arched doorway with 3 steps. So if you can imagine that. And on those steps were 3 little kids. Probably 3. I get choked up because this was pretty profound. So I saw the kids, and I saw somebody in a white robe with a beard, long hair, talking to these kids. If I was an artist, should talk to Jürgen Ziwa, and maybe he can make an animation of this because it was so profound. So as I was getting closer to this Christ, I assumed he was Christ with 3 little kids, I could feel that love, that unconditional love that I felt on that beach back in 1996. And I thought I was going, to meet them, meet him, meet the kids, but I was, kind of did a flyby to his left.
Okay.
I just quickly wanted to just mention about this disturbing one. I was falling, just in blackness, falling and falling and falling, and I could see what I thought were white lights on the walls. And as I was falling closer to the ground, they weren't lights. They were, demons. That's the only thing I can. Yeah, it was super, super disturbing. And I landed, once I landed, I was surrounded by the craziest thing. The bodies looked like zombies, arms straight out. The face was covered with a gold, like a gladiator mask, but very, very bright gold. Now, I was in the middle of all of this, but I was also observing myself, and somebody was with me. And I remember looking out over all of these zombies, and I thought, telepathically, I thought, well, there's millions of them. And the voice said to me, not millions, billions.
Not millions, but billions.
Billions, yes. Go ahead.
Yeah. And with just what's going on in the world, like this was about 2.5, 3 years ago when this happened. And anyway, as the zombies were, last thing I remember in that realm was just going down as all of these zombies were just kind of over me, and I yelled out just one name, Christ. And then I ended up in another realm, and I'll just quickly mention this.
Yeah, because we're going into break right now.
I have a break here. Yeah, it was imagine the London wheel, the Ferris wheel on the side, and each one of the capsules had the worst thing I'd ever done on it. So, yeah, I'm not going to get an answer to this. I just thought it was part of my initiation.
Well, we can have her answer you when we come back from the break. If you want to hang out during the break, because we do got to take a break. But if you want to ask, that's fine.
Yeah, we'll sorry, right back, I'm so excited to talk.
It's okay. It's all right. We'll be right back.
AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Are you stressed? I mean, who isn't? Anxiety creeping in? No, not that. Is sleep hard to attain because your brain just won't slow down? We're living in crazy times, and the fear knob has been turned up. Okay, there's an answer. Take a big breath, exhale, and go log on to AncientLifeOil.com. CBD, broad and full spectrum, organic and non-GMO CBD for you to enjoy. Change your tune from fear to calm, from brain overload to clear thinking. 0.003 THC on full spectrum and 0% THC on broad spectrum. Competitive pricing with the best quality. Also know everything is going to get better. No worries. Be happy. CBD can help calm so your nerves don't think they're a 6-string electric guitar. Enjoy life, smile, and log on to AncientLifeOil.com for great CBD. That's AncientLifeOil.com. You'll be glad you did.
Hi, this is David Oman with HouseAtTheEndOfTheDrive.com. You're listening to KTLK, The Fringe FM.
I'm getting older and noticing that my body just doesn't work as well as it used to. So I like to keep fit as possible by hitting the gym a few times a week. Recently, I started having a nagging bicep pain, and it got so bad I couldn't even lift the weights. When I was complaining about it to a friend, he told me about angioprim. He said chelation helps remove toxins, heavy metals, and cholesterol in veins and arteries that may cause blockages. You know, after just 1 week of taking angioprim, the pain was gone, and now I'm back in the gym full strength. Scientific research proves the active ingredient in angioprim has superior oral chelation action that helps promote cardiovascular health. So to learn more, go to angioprim.com. That's ANGIOPRIM.com, or talk to a trained consultant. Call Angioprim toll-free at 945-882-7221. You'll feel better with more energy. That's 945-882-7221. Or go to the website, angioprim.com.
I'm Clyde Lewis. You are listening to The Fringe FM.
To call Joe, pick up the phone, dial 1-800-588-0335, toll free from the United States or Canada.
All right, welcome back to Lighting the Void. We're here with our guest tonight, Marilynn Hughes. We just got through taking a call from Elmar, that's right. And that is the person who actually wanted me to get Marilynn on the show, and he kind of told a pretty cool but harrowing story about falling into these demons. That's probably the most creepiest thing I've ever heard you say, not millions, but billions. That was kind of freaky.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
Go ahead, Marilynn.
You know, the vision that he's had, this experience is pretty, has a lot of meaning embedded within it. And I kind of wanted to touch on it because there's a lot of imagery here that I think is relevant to the world as a whole. A lot of people are having these types of experiences. And so, you know, starting from the beginning, he's falling down and he's seeing what he thinks are lights. But as he progresses, he sees that they're demons. And again, you know, Satan comes as an angel of light. And so it's a delusion. It's something that is it's not what it appears to be. And then he lands on the ground and there's billions of zombies. The zombies are representative of human souls who have gotten lost in the mass retain. They are wandering around like zombies. We are in a bit of an apocalyptic time. This is why people are having these experiences. I've had many of them. Many others have also shared similar ones. Many prophets, modern day prophets, are having these types of experiences as well. What's happening is we have a huge amount of human beings who have chosen to remain asleep to all things spiritual during their incarnation here. And that's brought us to a turning point, so to speak, which is forcing this, you know, this internal struggle that is becoming larger, this battle between the principalities and powers of good and evil, and is raging inside of us, outside of us, and it's becoming more of a world event because there's going to be this showdown where everybody has to choose, where do I stand? And so what he's seeing there is, and what you're seeing here too, and I don't know if Elmar is still on the line with us, but
I am.
You're feeling that horrendousness of what it means to be a, quote, zombie, to have lost all spiritual inclination, to have fallen, because, you know, in the spiritual world, It is our sin, our vices, our fetters, our cravings, which weighs the soul down. And this is exactly what happens in the mystical spheres. The more of those things that are attached to your soul, the weight drags you further and further down into the darkness. We don't realize how much lukewarmness and complete indifference harms us and harms the human race, because we completely turn off all spiritual input. And the human being is not meant to be just a physical creature. We are we are powered by that fire of the spirit. And so when that light goes out, we become a very dark race.
Yeah, you ever notice too, sometimes, now that we are talking about that, how sometimes we'll stay in the comfort of our own misery. I mean, we could look across the bridge and say, across that bridge is my happiness. But I'm afraid to go across that bridge. I'm miserable here, but it's more comfortable and safe.
Well, yeah. And, this even goes back to what we were talking about earlier, which is, we are so afraid to just acknowledge our faults. And what we don't realize is that we are all the same. We're all struggling with the same kinds of struggles, the same kinds of things to overcome. And once we recognize that there is no shame in recognizing what it is that we need to do to actually bring ourselves back to life, there's no shame in that. The irony is that what Elmar saw was what it really looks like not to do it, which is the billions of zombies, because this is what we are seeing. There was a mystic in the 1600s by the name of Emanuel Swedenborg who wrote about this as well. Many other mystics have done so, where in the spiritual world, we see things as they truly are. And this is how I also experience it. So when a soul crosses over after death, they will become that which they truly love. And so what Elmar was seeing, he was seeing what this actually looks like, what this looks like in the spirit. We don't realize that what we see physically does not reflect the interior. Elmar saw the interior of what it means to have a world filled with zombies who are extinguishing the fire of the Holy Spirit within themselves. That's what it looks like.
Did you feel fear when you were fallen, or when you saw what you saw?
Oh yeah, I was totally I was just thrashing around, just falling, it wasn't like the other one where I'm in outer space and things are kind of under control, except for who I met. But I was totally out of control. I was scared.
Okay. And I didn't mean to cut you off there, Marilynn. I was just curious when the fear hit.
And to see what his experience is also showing is one of the actual epical moments that occur during the discipline pathway of the soul, where the soul is actually being instructed in the real and true energetic nature of good and evil. And so we are then taken, into these things. We're taken into these hell realms. We're taken into the real truth behind the things that we do. And what he was seeing was the real truth behind spiritual extinction, and the fact that it is prevalent to the point that it is on Earth. And what a serious, serious state that is. And this is why his experience was so important, not just to Elmar, but in sharing it with your listeners, because it has a meaning and significance for anyone who is to hear it, that this is the reality we wish to avoid. This is the reality that we wish to overcome. This is not something we want to sustain.
And those stars you saw could have just been us. Just, I mean, if God is light, then what are we but broken pieces of light that have fallen? I would say that. I don't know.
The things what he had seen and what he had said he had seen was these pieces of light, but as he was falling, he realized that they were not pieces of light, they were demons. And so we had talked about
were the
how...
eyes of the... Yeah, they were the eyes of the demons. Yeah, they looked like kind of bats clinging to a wall of a cave.
Oh man!
Their eyes were white
that's
lights.
Creepy.
Yeah. These are the types out there.
These are very typical experiences that you'll have when you're being taught about the dark side and about how do we discern evil. These are the types of experiences. So this is actually very good. And it's interesting because we see it as creepy, but what we need to do is see it as instructional, because his experience tells us a lot.
You got another question, Elmar?
So I just wanted to mention, you both know that, I think, that I grew up on the streets here in Thunder Bay, and I was, involved in the biker world, and I know true evil. I know true evil. I knew psychopaths that, caused a lot of harm to other people, and maybe this is a lesson for me to just stay on the path I'm at. And, do good. I work with addicts. I work with the so-called scum of society, and this was maybe a lesson to just, we all have to make a decision. Either we're part of the problem or we're part of the solution. And I've had to learn this the hard way. Hopefully others don't have to go through what I've been through to learn that, love is where it's at.
Well, I appreciate your call, brother. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thanks, Elmar. Great to talk to you for the first time.
Marilynn, thank you for who you are and what you do. And Joe, just keep doing what you're doing. You're the best.
Thanks, man.
Good night.
You have a good night.
Thanks, Elmar.
You got a fan for life there, because that is definitely the guy that was telling me, get Marilynn Hughes on. That's him, for sure. Yeah. And very persistent.
Me on Facebook. Yeah.
Very persistent about it.
Yeah.
So interesting, right? So like when I had the just curious what you think now, the second time I tried to get out of body, and let me tell you something. I think you might actually know the answer to this, because everybody else has just kind of guessed. And I kind of like your confidence about how you speak about these things. So I got obsessed with the out-of-body experience, but I was also obsessed with spirituality and metaphysics, trying to, learn. It was more of a curiosity thing. But, I mean, I felt a lot of love and stuff, but I was like, hey, I'm more than a physical body. I want to find out what this is all about. And I was reading a lot of mystical stuff by Daskalos and the Researchers of Truth and stuff like that, too. So I had an experience where I got halfway out of body, like, kind of how some people do from like the waist up.
Yeah.
Right. And I couldn't get the rest of the way out. And I started getting angry, and I was like, okay, I just had this feeling like something wasn't letting me out, and I said, I command you to release me and set me free by life and light. Now, why I said that, I have no idea. And the voice that came out of my mouth sounded like James Earl Jones times 20, right?
Yep.
And when I said it, I was like, what? I couldn't believe what I said. But as soon as I got done saying that, there was these two just like shadowy looking figures, and they came so fast at me. It happened within like a half a second, where they just kind of shoved me back in, and I woke up, What do you think was going on there?
Well, I don't know. The shadowy figures sound not like like not a good thing. Um, you could be having, in that particular instance, you may have been trying to push your own will too much on the experience. And that might be the shadowy figures. I'm not sure about, because they do not sound like they were.
They didn't seem scary. They were just kind of non-form, kind of translucent, not really any form, and really fast.
Okay. And so it's possible that there was, something more to that I can't discern from what you're saying. But what I definitely felt strongly was that you may have been trying to force your own will too much. And we have to be careful about this, because we are dealing with issues of God and the universal laws here. And so it's not about what we want. You know what I mean? And so,
sure.
We have to be ready to surrender to what we are allowed to do when we are allowed to do it. And that is often not what most of us are, we all get very excited. We want to have more experiences. And if we don't get what we want, we're upset. We don't understand, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, after you've had that first experience, you kind of get it. You got like, well, I got to do that again. I got to.
Oh, yeah. And so we do. But then we also have to get a proper amount of, surrender in there to the fact that there is a pattern of how this is done, and that we want to do it in a way that is in surrender to the will of God rather than to our own will. When we try to force it through our own will, we are bordering on that line of, the violation of eternal law. We always want to go in with not my will, but your will be done, God. And so it might have been too forceful, and those entities could very well have been in response pushing you back in your body and saying, well, if you're going to go that route, then
yeah,
you know what I mean?
This isn't the way it's supposed to be done.
It's not the way, not the way. And in the books that I've got at the site, I've got a whole bunch of books on how to, and they start out with the very simplest of the original beginning techniques, but then they go into more and more and more of the mysteries as to in the how-to techniques of what you're doing. And also I have the experience books. But what they'll do is they'll help you to understand and also kind of engage with the idea that this is something that we do need to be obedient to the process. We don't want to try to command it. And that's probably what might have went wrong there. That's what I would guess.
So this is more just like semantic stuff, not so much spiritual and God stuff. But what about when you can't see? You hear about that a lot too, right? Like I remember coming out of my body and messing with the mouse on my desk and feeling in my desk, but I couldn't see, and I could feel a strong pull back to my body too. Like it was kind of groggy, to be honest with you. But but I was definitely out. But I don't know, it was like attached still. It's hard to explain, but I could not see nothing. It was pitch black.
Well, what happens is in the out-of-body travel state, you're switching over from a physical body perspective of seeing, hearing, and movement into a consciousness-related form. So you end up having to learn how to turn on like this consciousness vision, which is different than what you're used to, which is like these two physical eyes. And so it is something that you learn over time and you practice, and you do the same with your hearing And with movement, a lot of people find themselves wading through the ether, and you don't get very far, because we're trying to walk or we're trying to run, you know what I mean? But we find very quickly that it is something that is instigated through thought. And so our vision, our hearing, it's all going to be instigated through thought. But the vision is one of the things that I think is more tricky in the beginning for whatever reason, but primarily just because it's a little more difficult than the others. With movement, it's easier to just switch over to, okay, I want to be near this place or this person, and you're just instantly traveling there. But with vision, it takes a little bit more practice. So you're going to have to, so you use your mind to try to turn on the vision, but then you're going to have to practice the art of it.
The one that I had just the most amazing experience with, I mean, even like what he was talking about flying, but the way I would do it was look at an object and kind of like pull myself to that object. It's hard to explain. That's how I flew. It felt like I was on you couldn't go more straight. It was like a zip line kind of thing,
Right.
Everything was so perfect. And then after that, it's always been lacking something, vision, something, not halfway out, so that first moment or that first out of body, is that just part of our awakening, you think, and the rest is okay, maybe you need to slow down and develop, or what do you think that is?
Well, so you're saying you're having trouble with the vision in repeated experiences, right?
Yeah. I mean, like the vision went away just one time. That was really weird. I'm just saying, like, I haven't had that experience again in that manner. There's always been something that's lacking. And so what I'm trying to figure out is, if this is a spiritual experience, then why did I have the fullest and greatest experience as far as the vividness of it that one time, and the rest is just, it's almost like trying to get back to that one time. I don't know.
I think it's possible that part of what's happening is that you're not cultivating the gift in the best possible way. Okay. What would that be? What would be the best possible way? Again, what can happen is, if you're focusing on it as, I really want this experience, but you're not doing the actual work of the spirit, then you're not going to instigate it. So, for instance, a lot of people will read The Mysteries of the Redemption, come to Wisdom's Door, and they will automatically just start having experiences spontaneously. And, that's partly because they were, written in that way. I was told when I was writing them that they would instigate naturally the experiences because they make possible in someone's mind, and therefore it opens that faculty up. But
that might part be what it was.
I'm sorry, what?
Well, I'm saying that makes sense. That might be what it was, actually.
Yeah, and so it opens the faculty, but then there's also this process, which you're also going through in the Mysteries of the Redemption, but then the other suggested, studying that, it's all at the website. The types of things that I suggest has to do with mystical theology, the science of the soul, which is the science of self-examination. What you'll find is that when people will begin this self-examination, people are really surprised to hear this. I'm not sure why, but they are. When people do this, there is something that switches on interiorly, and people will start having more and more spontaneous experiences. Part of it is because the purpose of the experience is for that purification of the soul. So when a person actually begins doing that work of the soul, which is doing the spiritual reading, which helps to form the conscience, when they do the prayer and the meditation time that is recommended. I usually recommend the 3-hour blocks. I recommend people are lying down for the meditations because we're trying to do out-of-body travel, so you want to be lying down. But there's a lot more in there too. When people start doing these things, these experiences rise of themselves and they progress of themselves. And this is because the actual essential matter is being attended to. The essential matter is that the soul has begun a purification process. The purification process, remember, out-of-body travel is the tool. It's not the goal. The goal is the purification of the soul.
You. We got like 2 minutes here, though, but I got you on that. I don't want to cut you off. I just don't want it to cut off before you get to, tell everybody how to find you and all that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, you can find me at outofbodytravel.org. We're the Out of Body Travel Foundation, and you can download our books for free there. We also have music and art and lots of video. We have a course of study that's free, and we're also putting out a lot of seminars and some documentaries you can check out as well. Grand Phases of the Soul, released today. You can check that out. It will give you a much deeper look into these things.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on. It was really cool to listen to your teachings and listen to your experiences about all this, Marilynn. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Joe. It's been great.
You're very welcome. And guys, I will leave all the links here in the archives. Thank you, Pacho, for making this happen. Also, thank you to our patrons and our donors for making the show happen. All you guys in the chat room. Stay tuned for the Secret Teachings with Ryan Gable coming up next. We'll be back same time tomorrow night, same channel right here live on the Fringe FM. Good night.